Welcome, everybody, to beautiful Miami and Hard Rock City, site of this year's Capital One Orange Bowl, part, of course, of the college football playoff. Hi, folks, and welcome to this highly competitive matchup, as we'll see a squad from the SEC, LSU Tigers, taking on the 11th ranked team, the Texas Longhorns. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Chris Fowler here with Kirk Herbstreit. Let's get this thing underway. To boot this one away. And it's fielded. Returner trying to create a big play here. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. The Texas Longhorns offense comes onto the field for the first time today. Kirk, not often these days you see a matchup as good as this between two elite running backs, two guys with a focal point of the offense.
And talking to them this week, you know they are both hyped up to go against each other, both looking for bragging rights. Can't wait to see who ends up playing better.
The sure hands. It's Moore. Tackled at the 32. That's enough for a first down.
That's an excellent throw by the quarterback, finding that window between the zones and delivering the ball on time.
The drive stays alive with that first down completion. There's the handoff. Heads out of bounds after a solid gain. Great start to the drive. Back-to-back explosive plays, and now another first down. On first down, it's play action. That's caught. It's Moore. Powering through the defender. They make the stop at the 34, but suddenly this offense is in scoring position now. First down.
Chris, how about the offensive balance these last couple plays we're seeing from these guys? Not only are they balanced, but the explosiveness. A big run followed up by a big play through the air, man, puts a lot of pressure on this defense.
Longhorns have first and 10 here. Scanning the field. It's Manning. Sophomore trying to make a play, but put too much on the throw. It's second down after the incompletion. Offense looking to throw the ball. Catch made on the out route. Defense shoves him out of bounds. Not much of a gain there. Big moment on the opening drive. They face third down. Looking to throw again. Catch made in space. Look out. They make the tackle, but that's enough to set him up first down at the 15. Looking to throw it from the red zone. The receiver grabs it. Defense reacts quickly. A very short gain on the play.
Boy, the slant route is already a difficult pass to defend in man coverage, but especially against a receiver like that. Man, good luck. Big receiver, they can use their body to shield the defensive back from the ball if it's placed correctly by the quarterback.
They'll run it here. Running through the tackle. Shows off the moves there, but ultimately not much of a gain. So here we go, third down. Defense needs a stop here. Try to force a field goal attempt. It's a keeper trying to get to the marker.
Now, how about that? Good job by the offensive line. The quarterback, they pick up this first down here on third down and 1 with the QB sneak. There are a lot of bodies crowding around that line who's able to find just enough space to pick up the first down in a new set of downs.
First and goal, handoff. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Texas.
You talk about the right way to get a game started. This offense put together a nice scheme. They felt comfortable with the script, and they moved the ball all the way down the field. 10 plays, and they get a touchdown. If you're the defensive coordinator, you're back to the drawing board trying to figure this out.
Extra point try coming now. And the PAT makes it 7-0. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. And here's the return from inside the 5. Makes it to the 16. That's good coverage there. The Tigers offense makes their way onto the field for their first possession. And Kirk, this is going to be fun. One of the best edge matchups we're going to see all season long. Elite wide receiver, elite corner, both competitive guys ready to go at each other.
And you know this corner, we had a chance to visit with him this week. He wants to be on an island against one of the best receivers in the country. And he's going to get that chance today to have a chance to showcase that he, in fact, is the top corner in college football.
Caught over the middle. It's Anderson. They bring him down quickly, a short pitch and catch to get a little bit closer to the marker. Looking downfield, it's Nussmeier. Fires it to the wideout. And it's incomplete. He just missed his target, overthrowing it. And the punt team makes its way onto the field. And that sets up a return. And the returner brought down by the coverage team. So here's the first play of the drive. They're set up at the 43. Opening play of the drive, quick throw to the left. And the defense swarms, not much of a gain on that completion.
We see this all over the country now in college football. Defensive backs staying back a little bit deeper, forcing the quarterback to have to throw things in front. I like the decision here by the quarterback because he gets positive yards. It's a good way of staying ahead of the chains.
Thrown quickly, caught in the right flat. Good enough for first down yardage. There's the snap. Quarterback setting up to throw. Grab down the middle. It's Moore. Defense surrounds it. Just a short gain on that completion. Second down after that previous play. They snap it. Quarterback looking to throw the ball. It's a screen pass complete to the running back. They make the stop, but the screen pass fools the defense enough to pick up first down yardage. Longhorns look to keep this drive moving. They'll hand it off. Runs through the defender. He's past the marker and still going. Tackle made at the 24-yard line. This offense really threatening now. First down, looking to throw the ball. Running back grabs it on the screen. It's out of bounds as a short gain on the play. The Longhorns are in the red zone. Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. And he picks up the first down before they get him to the ground. from Miami and Hard Rock City, site of this year's Capital One Orange Bowl, part, of course, of the college football playoff. Hi, folks, and welcome to this highly competitive matchup as we'll see a squad from the SEC, the LSU Tigers, taking on the 11th-ranked team, the Texas Longhorns. For EA Sports College Football, Chris Fowler, joined as always by Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk, let's get right to the action. Longhorns will kick this deep to get us going.
Texas.
Returner looking to create better field position. And they stop him at the 23. That's solid coverage. So the LSU Tigers offense comes on the field first today. They will go up against a secondary group that talks about the no-fly zone. These guys are confident in their ability to just lock down wide receivers and take away the opponent's passing game.
Seems like every year in college football, there's secondaries around the country that want to brag that they have the best group of defensive backs. I think this defense and this secondary specifically has a very strong case with what they have to work with. The question I have is, how will the offense consistently move the ball against this group today?
Offense now behind the 6 on second down. They need 12 after that first down loss. He finds some space. Tremendous toughness here. They bring him down, but a solid run there by the sophomore. LSU getting set for the 1st and 10 coming up. Dropping back, it's Nussmeier. He's got a man down the middle. Tackle made after a nice pickup on the play. Pass complete for a first down. The offense gets a fresh set of downs. From the shotgun, an inside handoff. Run it up the middle, but stuffed for no gain. Important second down play coming up. And the quarterback drops back, looking for an open man. It's an out route, the catch made. And he'll make his way out of bounds after gaining decent yardage. So it's 3rd and short from the opponent's 28. Let's see what the play call is here. They're already in field goal range, but thinking about the end zone. He's going to lose ground on the run, and now it brings up 4th down. So on their first possession of the game, the offense stays on the field, and they'll go for it. Here we go on 4th down. He's not going to get there. The defense rises up and makes a huge 4th down stop. The Longhorns offense comes out for their first possession today. Kirk, not often these days you see a matchup as good as this between two elite running backs, two guys with a focal point of the offense.
And talking to them this week, you know they are both hyped up to go against each other, both looking for bragging rights. Can't wait to see who ends up playing better.
Running with purpose. And the runner brought down right at the 38-yard line. Second down after that run in the previous play. And the wideout goes in motion. And they'll run it out of the shotgun. Breaks the tackle to get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. Important 3rd down play coming up. They try to sneak it for the first.
Usually with a quarterback sneak, the worst thing that could happen is he gets stopped for no gain. This guy's trying to make something happen that's not there, and he loses yardage on 3rd and inches. Now we got 4th down.
And the returner elects to fair catch it, no return. Okay, so here comes the LSU offense back on the field. Last possession, they went for it on 4th down, but got stoned. Looking for a man deep on the right side. And it's hauled in, catch made way downfield. He takes it all the way. They couldn't stop him. Touchdown, LSU.
This guy can do it all. We've seen him go behind coverage and make plays downfield. We can see him catch the ball underneath, just like this. And when he catches a football, he is so dangerous after the catch. This one leads him into the end zone for the 6 points.
try to add to the lead now with a PAT. And it's 7-0 after the PAT. So after putting up a touchdown, the kickoff team is out there and booted away. Return starts from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. Okay, the Texas offense comes back out on the field. They're coming off a 3-and-out, looking to produce a positive drive here. The pocket breaking down. Finds that big tight end for a short pass. Receiver brought down after a short pitch and catch. Dropping back, it's Manning. Defense is coming after him. Quarterback gets down to avoid the big hit. So from the 28-yard line, it's a 3rd and manageable here. Looking to pick up the first down through the air. And a short pitch and catch to the tight end. Powering through a tackle. And he runs out of bounds. That's a big gain there. This line getting set up. It's a first down play. And he drops back in the gun. On the run, he'll let it go. And the pass is dropped incomplete. Would have had a huge gain. Took his eye off the ball. Offense getting set up. Here's second down. Off an RPO, the quarterback looks to his right. Tackled quickly after the catch. He'll be short of the marker. Quarterback in the shotgun here on third down. Caught over the middle. It's Moore. And they get the third down conversion. Football moves now to the 45. Makes a quick grab. But the play loses yardage. Very tough second down coming up now. Offense lines up. This is the 7th play now on this drive. Looking to throw yet again. Receiver makes the catch. To get him down quickly, not much of a gain on that completion. Offense been in reverse here. Now a long way to go to convert this third down. Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down. Catch made down the left side, an explosive play. Tackle made at the 26-yard line. This offense getting closer to the red zone.
Well, it's third down. The defense knows he's going to get the ball. You still can't stop the quarterback finding this receiver to be able to pick up another first down for this offense.
Longhorn starting a new series here on 1st and 10. Looking to throw. It's Manning. Looking to set up a screen pass here. Defense reacts quickly. A very short gain on the play.
You can see what the offense is trying to do here with this screen play, but they avoid disaster by at least getting a few positive yards. The defense doing a great job of anticipating the screen here.
It's LSU on top as we take a break for the quarter. And at the end of the first quarter, let's check out the stats so far. Plenty of time for some plot twists here as we begin the second quarter. Here we go. First play of the quarter. Offense setting up for a second down play. Here's the handoff. And he's tackled, but only after picking up a first down. The Longhorns are looking to take advantage of this red zone trip. Play action here on first down. Catch made, looking for the goal line. Brought down just short of the end zone. It'll be first and goal from the 1.
Well, this is what coaches love to see. A quarterback with the ability to read the defense properly and then just get it to the open man. Sometimes it sounds simple, but it's tough to execute. This time we have good recognition by the quarterback. Then he gets it down to the tight end. You can see what he can do after the catch.
There's a handoff on first and goal. And he muscles into the end zone. Touchdown, Longhorns.
Chris, I know the back's going to get a lot of attention for this touchdown, but I was focused on the offensive line. You had 5 guys working as one. Great communication, able to get up to that second level and open things up nicely to allow the back into the end zone.
Now here comes the point after attempt. And the PAT is good. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. Bringing it out, it's Anderson. And he stopped at the 20, trying to make something happen, but that's good coverage there. And here comes that LSU offense back onto the field. Last time out, a one-play touchdown drive through the air, and they keep it going here. They get him down, but the gain moves the ball up to the 36. Tackle made, but a strong arm throw by the senior quarterback.
You know, each receiver brings something a little bit different to the table, Chris. To me, the outside receivers usually are a little bit longer, taller guys. You get those slot receivers in the inside, not only can they make the catch, but they have quickness to make plays after the catch. Great example of that right here.
The shotgun running play call. And he will be stuffed for no gain. Offense getting set. It's second down. Back to throw. It's Nussmeier. Grab down the middle. It's Anderson. The defense grabs him after the completion. He's just short of a first down.
Well, it's a big risk to play man-to-man coverage by this defense, and this time they get caught. Great timing between the quarterback and his receiver. You can see what can happen when that timing is right. Big things can happen.
We'll give it to the running back. And he's brought down, but not before he gets first down yardage.
Nice first down run here by this running back. And these are the kind of situations on third and short that you can gain a lot of momentum, or it can kill a drive and kill the confidence of an offense. Here they pick up the nice first down, which is great, new set of downs, but it also gives you a lot of confidence that you can wear that defense down psychologically. And the back now goes in motion.
Caught behind the line. It's Durham. Defense drops him for a loss. Tougher second down on the play. The offense behind the 6, off schedule there after the first down play. Quarterback looking to pass here on second down. Caught over the middle. It's Anderson. They finally get him down, but not before he reaches the 28.
Chris, is it possible to be DBU and wide receiver U at the same time? I think the LSU fans think it's possible. They always seem to have great defensive backs, and they always have pass catchers that just show up and show out week after week, year after year.
We'll take a quick pause before the half as we reach the 2-minute timeout. Fresh set of downs for the offense. First down. There's the snap. Looking to throw the ball. Caught by the receiver. They stop him, but it's a first down. LSU now operating in the red zone. Now in the red zone, it's Nussmeier. And it's incomplete. The defender arrived the same time as the football. And now it's second down. And the 8th play on this drive coming up. To the air, it's Nussmeier. He's got it near the end zone. And he can't quite get in. They get him down at the 1-yard line. Timeout called by the defense, their first of the half, as they try to make some adjustments here. Keep it on the ground on first and goal. And he fights into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers.
Well, that's an example right there of what vision and patience and ability can do for a running back. He was on a mission to get into the end zone, and really, he made it look easy.
And they'll set up for the PAT. The PAT is good. They go for touchdown, 14-7. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. And they stop him at the 23. That's solid coverage. So here we go. First play of the drive, under 2 minutes before halftime. Here comes a first down pass attempt. With the catch, it's Moore. He's brought down quickly. A short gain gets them a few yards closer to the mark. Quarterback wants to throw it on second down. He's got it on a crossing route. A timeout is called. Important stage late here in the second quarter. A completion, good for a first down. The offense working with a new set of downs here. There's the snap, and he's looking to throw. Looks over the middle, and that's complete. That play moves the ball across midfield to be set up with a first down at the 41. As the tight end flexed out into the slot, looking for a matchup there, Kirk.
Well, it is a matchup because he has the size where he's very difficult to be able to match up for his safety, and he's got the speed to be able to outrun a linebacker. That's why they like to flex him out like that and be able to pick up nice big gains like this.
Dumps it down and back, caught. You make the stop at the 26, but it's a first down. This offense in good scoring position now. Send the back in motion. Back to pass. It's Manning. And that pass is hauled in over the middle. They get him on the ground finally, but it'll be first down from the 14. Longhorns will hustle to the line to run the hurry-up offense. Snapping it from the red zone now, looking to throw. And he's got it! Touchdown, Texas!
Let's go! What a fantastic half we've had here. We talk about a last-minute lead change through the air, and we can only hope the second half's going to be as exciting as this has been.
Now a PAT can level the score heading into halftime. And it's up and good. So an important touchdown just before halftime. Not much time for the opposing offense to try to answer before the break. And he takes this from inside the 5. The returner is brought down. Gets us started on the next drive. Final seconds in the first half, they will just take a knee and head to the locker room. Looks like the offense is content to run out the clock here and just take it to intermission. And that will do it for the first half here. Kevin Connors, now we have our halftime update.
Fellas, by the looks of things, we've had one enjoyable first half in Springfield. And talk about a good competitive game so far. Not saying this has been the best first half we've seen in the history of these two programs, but they've matched each other's intensity, and the result has been a very evenly played game. Fascinating to see how the rest of this one plays out. For now, let's get back to the guys in the booth to start up this second half.
He's going to try for a return from a couple yards deep in the end zone. And they stop it at the 11. Not good field position to start the drive. The Longhorns offense takes the field. They're looking for some points to jump on top here as we get the third quarter going. A solid 8-yard gain brings up a 2nd and 2. Ball is handed off out of the shotgun. Moves the ball to the 25. Good enough for a first down. A running play gives the offense a fresh set of downs. Off the play fake, looking to throw on first down. He lets it go on the move. Physical defending. That one falls incomplete. Brings up 2nd down. So 2nd and 10 from the 25. Important to get something here to avoid that tough 3rd and long situation. Breaks free.
Well, there's just so many things happening on these read option plays, and they happen fast. This defense has done a good job of trying to prevent this quarterback from hitting the big play. He gets some yards here, but at least he didn't get out for a big gainer.
To throw, it's Manning. Running out of time in the pocket. Can't find anybody on 3rd down, throws it away, and now 4th down coming up. Longhorns bring their punt team onto the field. Looking to kick it away for the 2nd time. No fair catch. He feels the punt. And the coverage team makes the stop on this return. And that Bayou Bengals offense is back out on the field. And looking to throw now on 1st down. Grab down the middle. It's Brown. They stop the receiver, but that's a solid gain on that play. That completion makes it 2nd and short. Grab behind the line. It's Anderson. They make the stop, but not before a solid gain that time. Back-to-back chunk plays to begin the drive. The defense on their heels. On 1st and 10, they'll look to throw it. Caught over the middle. It's Anderson. A completion makes it second and short. Out of the shotgun, he'll hand it off. The junior able to bring him down quickly. An important third down attempt for this offense. Trying to convert with a sweep. This LSU offense is moving quickly down the field. Off the play fake, looking to throw. Grab down the middle. It's Sharp. They bring him down to the 18. The offense set up in the red zone with a first down. LSU getting set with a 1st and 10 now. In the red area, it's Durham. Gain of 2 yards. Now it's 2nd down and 8. Empty set now. 5 wide receivers. Looking to pass here on 2nd down. The tight end has got it. Brought down, but the catch moves the ball all the way down to the 1. The offense threatening, close to the goal line with a new set of downs. They'll try to run it in on 1st and goal. Touchdown, LSU. And that will give them the lead now.
I think we're starting to kind of see a theme here, Chris, today. That's his 2nd touchdown. The offensive line doing their job, and he's doing an outstanding job of just reading the defense, finding the hole, and being able to pick up big yards and touchdowns.
PAT makes it a 7-point lead. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. He's going to return it from near the goal line. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. Okay, the Texas offense comes back out on the field. Last possession, they were forced to kick it away. Can they finally get things going this time? Receiver makes the grab. They make the tackle, but not before a solid gain on that pass. 2nd down after that completion. Keep it on the ground. There's the handoff. The Longhorns keep the football on the move. And that run is good for 1st down yardage. A new set of downs for this offense. Looks right for a quick completion. Tackle made after a big gain.
Boy, this receiver in the slot is giving this defense all kinds of problems. He has another catch on the day. You may want to adjust out, get out of your base, maybe try 5 or 6 defensive backs on the field, somebody that can match up more athletically against this slot receiver.
So the offense with the 1st and 10 now, the football placed exactly at midfield. They're going to run it here. Breaks loose at the 40. He's taken down, but that's a nice gain. They'll spot the ball now at the 35. The 1st and 10 play coming up for the offense. Dropping back, it's Manning.
Boy, how about that play, Chris? That thing just opened up the back shot through there with great acceleration. What a pickup there on 1st down.
Longhorns looking to take advantage of this red zone trip. Offense will keep it on the ground here. Goes backwards, losing 3 yards there. Been a really solid drive, and now a challenge here coming up on 2nd and 13. Quarterback looking to throw it on 2nd down. And that catch is hauled in. Tackle at the 8 after the completion. Offense comes up to the line. They might have a chance for a couple more plays before the quarter expires. Caught in the backfield. It's Moore. And he's wrapped up short of the marker there as the time runs down here in the 3rd quarter. It's LSU on top as we take a break for the quarter. We've reached the end of 3. Time is running out to cut into the lead. Let's take a look at the game sets before we move on. We're set now for the 4th quarter. Who's going to make the crucial plays to take home this W? They've had the break to talk about it. Now we begin the quarter with the offense set up, second and goal. And off inside, looking for the touchdown. No stopping him on that run. Touchdown, Longhorns.
And that's another touchdown for this guy. This defense better adjust and get eyes into that backfield, or he may go for a third or a fourth later today.
And now the try here for the extra point. PAT is up and good, and we are all tied here in the final quarter. We got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. Fields it just outside the goal line. Not much on the return. They'll stop him at the 24. Good coverage. Okay, so here comes the LSU offense back on the field. Trying to find some room. It's Durham. That's a solid gain. Moves the ball to the 29. The gain makes it second and medium. Looking to throw. It's Nussmeier. That's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact. No flag. Brings up third down. Dropping back. Looking to throw for the first down. Delivers quickly to the left side. Wide open downfield. They drag him down after a big gain. Ball moved all the way to the 38.
Well, if I'm this defense, you get these guys to third down, you better bracket or double team some kind of coverage rolled to this receiver to take him away. This guy makes another big play.
LSU getting set with a 1st and 10 coming up. Off the play fake, looking to throw. Caught over the middle. It's Anderson. They bring him down at the 18. The offense set up in the red zone with a first down. This LSU offense is moving quickly down the field. Here comes a throw from the red zone. Lets it go quickly. He's got it right near the end zone. Brought down at the 3 after the completion. The offense really threatening now. Looks to his left and makes the completion. Touchdown, LSU. And jump on top now here in the 4th. So they'll try to add the lead now to the PAT. PAT is up and good. They lead by a touchdown here in the 4th quarter. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. He'll return it from inside the 5. And he's tackled at the 21. That's where the drive will start. The Longhorns offense takes the field. The last drive, the passing game, very effective. Moved them right down the field. Can the defense make adjustments? Oh, the pass rush gets home.
Well, I love this defense and how they're playing some man coverage. And let's face it, when you do that, it's a bit risky. You can leave your defensive backs out there on islands. But the good combination of good coverage with a good pressure on the quarterback, and you come up with sacks like this.
They got some ground to make up. 2nd and long from the 15. Slides the quick throw. The ball carrier taken down, but there's a flag on the field.
Pass interference.
Solid gain on the play there, wiped out by the penalty flag. 2nd and inches opens up the playbook. Will they take a shot here from their own territory? Grab down the middle. It's Moore. They bring down the receiver, but that's a nice gain on that play. So a tricky situation here. 3rd and very long inside your own 20. How much of a risk do you take? You know this defense could be very aggressive at this moment. Pulls it in. It's Moore. What a catch and run by the junior.
This is a big conversion by this offense. They're down now in the second half. Probably limited opportunities at this point in the game. Every chance you get your hands on the ball, you need points. They keep this drive alive right here.
So the ball placed right at midfield as the offense starts with a 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun, he hands it off. And he goes nowhere. Stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Running play goes backwards. Now the offense is set up at 2nd and 13. Throwing off play action. Off target and incomplete. Here we are late in a close game. Crucial play coming up. 3rd and long. Offense moving receivers around now before the snap. Looking to throw it on 3rd and very long. He's got it in the open. They stop him, but not before he reaches the 35. This offense really threatening now. This could be a dramatic finish, marching toward a tying touchdown. It's 1st and 10. From the shotgun, handoff inside. Nowhere to run up the middle. Here we go, trailing late in the game here. Serious urgency for this offense right now. Looking deep downfield to the left. Makes the grab, a chance to score. Touchdown, Texas. This offense cannot be stopped.
What a touchdown by this offense. They're down 1 now, an extra point away from tying this game up with under 2 minutes to go.
Lining up to try the extra point. And that PAT gives us a tie ball game here in the final quarter. So after putting up a touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. And here's the return from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. Here's the first play of the drive now. They begin at the 19. They start the drive with a quick throw to the left side. And the defense swarms. Not much of a gain on that completion. The clock is still running. They've got to get set quickly. Scanning the field. It's Nussmeier. The sure hands. It's Brown. And he's shoved out of bounds by the defense short of the first down marker. 3rd down, out of the shotgun. Cannot get the throw off. He's taken down, but a huge play at this stage of the game. And now a timeout quickly called by the defense as they try to get everybody on the same page here. And on 4th down, the punter sends it away. And this one will be fair caught. He'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Catch made on the out route.
Anytime a quarterback and a receiver are in sync, you've got a chance to make a very successful play. Great job here by the offense.
2nd down, we're going to throw it. The receiver makes the catch. They bring him down after a short gain there. They crank up the tempo here for this important 3rd down play. Looking to pick up the 1st down through the air. And it's incomplete on the overthrow. Just too much on that ball. So tie game, 4th quarter. They're going to go for it on this 4th down. And there's the handoff. He did not get it. A crucial play by this defense. What a 4th down stop. They'll run it from the gun. To get him down, but not before he gets to the +38. And a timeout is called. They'll talk it over. Tied late here in the 4th quarter. The crowd now trying to make a difference here in the final possession. 1st down. Looking to throw the football. It's an out route. The catch made. Now the timeout is called by the defense. They've got some things to work out here. Great start to the drive. Back-to-back explosive plays. And now another 1st down. Grab behind the line. It's Anderson. They bring him down, but that's a solid gain on the play. And now the defense decides to spend a timeout to regroup a bit. LSU getting set with a 1st and 10 now. Trying the old counter play here. Slams right into a wall. They got him for a loss. A timeout stops the clock with just 7 seconds remaining in the game. And the field goal unit coming on the field now. And it sails right through the middle of the uprights. Solid kick. And with that, they regain the lead.
I was watching this guy in pregame. He has got a strong leg. I'm surprised here he's able to put 3 points.
After the clutch kick to take the lead, now they'll kick it away. The offense still a chance to tie this game if they can drive the field quickly. Return starts from inside the 5. And the returner will be brought down. And the drive will begin backed up at their own 10-yard line. Back to throw. It's Manning. And he dumps it off to the tight end. Defense shoves him out of bounds. Not much of a gain there. Welcome, everybody, to beautiful Miami and Hard Rock Stadium, site of this year's Capital One Orange Bowl, part, of course, of the college football playoff. Hi, folks, and welcome to this highly competitive matchup. And he's going to bring this out from a couple yards deep in the end zone. Solid coverage there. They get him at the 15. That's where the offense will take over. The Longhorns offense is going to get the chance to start this game off. And Kirk, this offense is able to rely on an elite running back. And how priceless is it to have a guy like this?
You know, sometimes in college football we get so caught up in the quarterback and the receivers and just spreading it out. But the elite teams have a running back like this that can take your offense to another level.
Caught by the back behind the line of scrimmage. They bring him down quickly. A short pitch and catch to get a little bit closer to the marker. Pass complete. It's second down now. We'll hand it off. It's a nice wrap up there by the junior. Here we go. First third down of the game. To the air. It's Manning. Short throw to the back. An easy completion. They bring him down, but a big chunk of yardage on the play.
That's exactly what you want to see here from this offense. A big third down conversion. Offensive line did their job, giving a quarterback enough time. Great read, good execution, throws the ball accurately. Now you got some momentum going here on this opening drive.
The Longhorns getting set on 1st and 10. Off the play fake, looking to throw. Fires it to the wideout. Caught! He's wide open. Look out! They bring him down, but an explosive play by this offense. Big game. Handoff here from the shotgun. And he's brought down, but there is a flag on the field. Let's check out this call.
Offside, defense.
What I always love to see on these offsides call is when they're always pointing at each other. You know, he did it. I didn't do it. Put it on him. We know this time it's on the defense. They're going to make the right call.
Going absolutely nowhere. That would be a loss of the point. From the shotgun, it's a handoff. First down, looking for more now. Tackle, but only after picking up a fresh set of downs. Big throw. That's an RPO caught on the left side. They bring him down, but that play will set up a first and goal now at the 10. The Longhorns are in the red zone. On 1st and 10, looking to throw. It'll be Smolder right at the line for no gain. Coming to the line on second down. This is important. They want to avoid a third and long. Dropping back. It's Manning. Looking to the end zone. And it's caught. Touchdown, Longhorns.
Well, the script from the offensive coordinator works perfectly here to get this game started for this offense. Great job of mixing up a lot of different looks to get a read and a gauge of what this defense is up to today, and you're able to put 6 points up on the board. Great start.
So they'll try to add to the lead now with the PAT. PAT is good, so it's 7-0. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. Fields it inside the 5-yard line. Tackled at the 22. Good job by the coverage team. For the LSU Tigers offense out there for their first possession, they will go up against a secondary group that talks about the no-fly zone. These guys are confident in their ability to just lock down wide receivers and take away the opponent's passing game.
Seems like every year in college football, there's secondaries around the country that want to brag that they have the best group of defensive backs. I think this defense and this secondary specifically has a very strong case with what they have to work with. The question I have is, how will the offense consistently move the ball against this group today?
Caught over the middle. It's Anderson. They've got him at the 48, but that's a first down. Back-to-back jump plays to begin the drive. The defense on their heels. Caught behind the line. It's Durham. Zero running room. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Here's the second down play. And they'll keep it on the ground. Running back has the handoff. Nowhere to run. No corralling for no gain. Not going to be easy here. Backed up a long way to go for a first down. Looking to pass. It's Nussmeier. Makes the grab. It's Anderson. Defense will wrap him up after an 8-yard gain. It'll bring up fourth down. Toss play. Back heads to his right. Oh, they've stopped him short. What a fourth down play, and they will take over on downs now. He hands it off from the gun. As the first down is still going. Tackle made at the 36. It'll be first down. This offense in good position here. New set of downs for the offense. First and 10. Give it to the back again. What a spin move. He's in the clear now. Tackle made after a solid run by the junior.
Nice job up front, opening up that hole, and look at this Texas running back just running physical for a nice first down. Texas running backs. Chris, come on, you know better than me. Earl Campbell, Ricky Williams, Jamal Charles, more recently Bijan Robinson. Incredible history in Austin when it comes to these backs, and he's living up to it today.
Running back has it on the screen now. And he's out of bounds after gaining decent yardage. So down here in the red zone, every yard tough to find. Here is a crucial play coming up. Off the RPO, clock to the right. Oh, and he heads out of bounds after a really nice gain there. Longhorns will line up here on first down and goal. First and goal, they'll try to run it in. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. The offense will line up. Chance for a couple more plays before the end of the quarter. Defense makes the tackle as the final seconds of this first quarter run out. So Texas has the lead, Kirk, as we break here for the quarter. Let's check out the stats now through the opening period. They've flipped ends of the field. We're ready now for the second period. Crucial play to begin the new quarter. The offense sets up with a third and goal. Back to pass. It's Manning. Looking to the end zone. Oh, and he dropped it. The would-be touchdown could not come up with the football. Now it's fourth down. So it looks like they'll bring the field goal unit onto the field. And that kick right down the middle. Can't hit it any better than that. And that will extend their lead even further.
Well, they almost put a touchdown on the board, but instead they come away with 3 points.
Following the field goal, the kickoff team is out there now.
Texas.
Fielded in the end zone. It's Anderson. He tackled at the 17. Strong job by the coverage team. And here comes that LSU offense back onto the field. Hoping to improve in the last drive. They got stopped on fourth down, and it ended up costing them a field goal. Grab down the middle. It's Anderson. Tackle made after a nice pickup on the play. They bring him down with a veteran quarterback. Shows off that trademark arm strength.
Man, I love these big receivers. This time he's able to use his big frame to almost box out the defender on that slant route. If you've got good timing, and this is hard to stop.
Big guys up front lined up. It's first down. Grab behind the line. It's Anderson. And this one goes nowhere. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Getting set. Here's second down.
Well, that was definitely not what they had in mind, but look at this. Here comes the tempo again. undeterred by the tackle for a loss.
Runner scoots out of bounds after gaining decent yards. So now it's 3rd and short from the 43. Can they keep the drive going or perhaps face a tough 4th down decision? Caught in the backfield. It's Brown. The defense all over. They stop him right at the line. They bring the punter onto the field now. The coverage team able to bring the returner to the ground. Okay, the Texas offense comes back out on the field. Kept out of the end zone last time. Had to settle for a short field goal. Can they improve upon that here? Tackle made on the play at the 29-yard line. 1st down here for this offense. Off the play fake, looking to throw. Fires it on the move. Makes the catch near the sideline and keeps the foot in bounds. That's enough for a 1st down. Great start to the drive. Back-to-back explosive plays, and now another 1st down. The gain is 4, so it's 2nd and 6. Grab behind the line. It's Moore. And the defense smothers him for no gain. Offense gets set up here. It's 3rd down.
On the play. 3rd down coming up.
Looking to pass. It's Manning. Swarm with a pass rush. A sack.
Interesting call here by the defense in their dime set with 6 defensive backs. Instead of manning up and applying pressure on the receivers, they sit back. Make it tougher on the quarterback. Make him have to read their zone coverage. He gets confused and allows the defensive line to get to the quarterback.
Longhorns will bring their punt team onto the field. This will be fair caught back at the 10-yard line. So they begin the drive here in the final 3 minutes of the half. On 1st and 10 here, looking to throw the ball. Caught over the middle. It's Durham. Stop at the 43, but that's enough to make a 1st down.
Boy, huge play by this offense. A good throw, a nice accurate throw, but I think it's the run after the catch that really impresses me. And early in this game, you got to think they're going to continue to go back to him until this defense shows that they can slow him down.
Okay, we reached the 2-minute timeout. The offense some work to do here trying to cut into this lead before halftime. Looking to throw it on 1st down. Brown down the middle. It's Anderson. They get him down, but he crosses midfield. Spot the ball at the 44. About time this offense gets going. It's a 1st and 10. And he'll set up to throw. Lets it fly to the wideout. That one falls incomplete. Good defensive play. Brings up 2nd down. Here comes 2nd and 10 from the 44 after that incompletion. Looking to chuck it again. Caught over the middle. It's Anderson.
If you play zone coverage and the quarterback is patient, this is a tough play to defend. Nice job of waiting for the receiver to get into the window and then making an accurate throw.
They convert on 3rd down and move the football to the 25. LSU getting set with a 1st and 10 coming up. To throw, it's Nussmeier. The ball is picked off. Tackle made after a short return, but the pick ends that threat.
That offensive coordinator is going to have some choice words for his quarterback over the phone on the sideline after that throw. You have to be more careful with the football.
Here's the first play of the drive now, backed up at the 15. Quarterback pulls the ball. It's a keeper. Finding some room at the 25. He'll avoid the tackle there with a slide.
Well, we know this guy can throw the football, and here, this is what makes him so good. His ability to run the option and get involved in the run game puts a lot of pressure on this defense.
First down now at the 49. One huge play has got this offense out near midfield and threatening. Short throw complete to the tight end. What's the play call here on second down for this offense? Breaks into open space. Keeper for the first down and more. How aggressive will they be on this first down play? They'll try the ground game here with the running back. Tackle made at the 26-yard line. This offense getting closer to the red zone. The offense will take their first 10 out of the half. The talk strategy here. This line getting set up. It's a first down play. Wants to throw it. The pass rush closing in. Oh, they trap him for a sack.
Nothing is more gratifying for a defense to be able to sit back and play zone and still get pressure on the quarterback with your defensive front.
The offensive line will have to regroup after the sack. It's 2nd and 13. To throw, it's Manning. Grabbed by the receiver. Now the offense will call a timeout here. Something they didn't like about what they saw there. Wanting to make an adjustment before this critical down. So the offense getting set. This is not where you want to be against this defense. 3rd and long. Makes the grab with plenty of room to run. And they've got him down at the 3. Big gain in that completion. So the offense takes the field in the final seconds of the half. Chance for just a couple more points. He had all day back there before throwing a strike. Touchdown, Texas.
Oh, man, these guys will not be stopped. Talking about putting up points before halftime and then really putting some distance on the scoreboard. This defense is officially reeling.
Going to try to add the lead now to the PAT. And the kick is up and good. They tack on a point to their lead. So an important touchdown just before halftime. Not much time for the opposing offense to try to answer before the break. Bringing it out, it's Anderson. He'll be tackled at the 17. Strong job by the coverage team. So it's first down, but they'll just take a knee and head to halftime. Looks like the offense content to run the clock out here and go to halftime. Talk about the second half. Miller's going to wrap up the first half here. Let's kick it down to Kevin Connors with our halftime update.
Fellas, by the looks of things, we've had one enjoyable first half in Springfield. And how can we begin our analysis of that first half without singing the praises of one of the elite backs in football? Racking up huge numbers on the ground, even throwing the occasional block. This kid is the total package. And if this defense doesn't adjust its strategy, he could be headed towards a career day. Either way, it's time to find out. Back to the best of the biz for the start of this third quarter.
Texas.
And he takes this from inside the 5. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. And that Bayou Bengals offense is back out on the field. Eager to get something going as we begin the third quarter. Cut in. They trap him and sack him back at the 10.
Chris, he's getting in there so quickly. You might want to consider a chip block with either the tight end or a running back to slow him down. He's just too talented out there.
Second and long now from their own 10. Takes off in a bootleg. Caught behind the line. It's Durham. Stopped right there at the line. No gain. Urgency now for the offense. They hate to come up empty on this drive, down multiple scores. Now in third and very long, looking to throw. Grab behind the line. It's Durham. The defense stops him short of the marker in that screen. Fourth down coming up. And here comes the punter onto the field. And he'll kick it away now for the second time. Fair catch made at the 40. The Longhorns offense takes the field. And they'll run it out of the shotgun. And he will be stuffed for no gain. Offense getting set. Second down play here. Off play action. He's looking to throw. Short pass finds the tight end. They stop him after a short gain. It's not a first down. Challenging spot for the offense. It's third down and long from the 45. The ball is caught. They make the stop at the 47. That's enough for a first down. The Longhorns come to the line to start a fresh set of downs. Shotgun formation. Here's an inside handoff. The gain is 5, so it's second and 5 now. Here comes the handoff. They test the middle of the defense, but get nothing. Critical third down play for this offense right here. Looking downfield, it's Manning. A deep shot to the left side. And this is dropped. Would have been a huge gain, but he could not collect it. Out comes the field goal team to give it a shot. This is a long way out. And he's got it from 58 yards away. Never in doubt.
Boy, this guy had plenty of leg here, too. Chris, you remember the days when a kick from 50-plus was a major accomplishment? Now these guys knock these out like they're almost automatic.
So after adding to this big lead, they are set to kick it away.
Texas.
Fielded in the end zone. It's Brown. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. Okay, so here comes the LSU offense back on the field. They're coming off a quick 3-and-out, so looking to put something together on this drive with a little more urgency. Grab down the middle. It's Anderson. They get him down, but that's a nice play. Moves the ball to the 33. First and 10 now for the offense. Here's the snap. Quarterback drops back. Caught over the middle. It's Brown. And that gain enough for a fresh set of downs. Spotted at the 48. This offense has been struggling. Still scoreless, but on the move now with a first and 10. That's caught. It's Durham. Defense surrounds him. Just a short gain on that completion. Made the catch, but he was surrounded for not much room to run.
They did a really good job that time of leveraging him out in space. I thought he might have a chance to be able to shake loose because he is so elusive. But defense, as you said, did a really good job in the open field surrounding him. Just nowhere for him to go to pick up any more positive yards.
Caught in the backfield. It's Sharp. Take it down, but not before he makes the first down. Grab behind the line. It's Anderson. And he'll be smothered right at the line for no gain. Second down play coming up. It's a quarterback keeper. Zero running room. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. They come to the line. A long way to go for the first down, but needing this crucial conversion right now. That one is incomplete. The defender was right there, and it brings up fourth down now. Special teams on the field now. Here comes a punt. And he puts it out of bounds, so no return. So the drive begins here, backed up at their own 9. Off the play fake on first down. Finds his man. It's Moore. To get him down quickly, not much of a gain on that completion. That completion makes it second and medium. And the quarterback keeps it on the option. In the clear at the 25. He's in the clear. Finally, they make the tackle, but this defense reeling after a huge explosive play.
You talk about a headache for a defensive coordinator. You got to plan around that kind of speed and discipline and elusiveness from a quarterback like this. Man, it creates nightmares that this defensive coordinator, I'm sure, dealt with.
So quickly, with one explosive play, this offense has moved inside the opponent's 40. Fakes the handoff here, looking to throw it. Quick completion to the tight end. Defense reacts quickly, a very short gain on the play. That completion makes it second down. And the quarterback keeps it here. He'll avoid the big hit with the slide. Offense coming to the line. They might have a chance for a couple more plays before we reach the end of the quarter. Scanning the field. It's Manning. Oh, and they've got him. A sack on the final play of this third period. So Texas has the lead, Kirk, as we break here for the quarter. And they got to be feeling pretty good about things as we wrap up the third quarter. Let's review how we got here. And now entering the final period of play, is there an epic comeback in store? We're going to find out. And the first play of the final quarter will be a field goal attempt. The kick is blocked. Somebody got a hand on that. And he busts loose right down the middle. It's a foot race at the 20. All the way to the end zone. What a run. Touchdown, Tigers. They're setting out to try the PAT. And it's good. Kickoff team out there. They are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. He's going to return it from near the goal line. And he stopped at the 20, trying to make something happen. That's good coverage there. Okay, the Texas offense comes back out on the field. Using the ground game here. Tailback has the handoff. And he goes nowhere. Stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. They look to throw it here on second down. Short connection to the tight end here. Receiver brought down after a short pitch and catch. They're backed up here, trying to make something happen on third and long. Looking downfield, it's Manning. Receiver looks it in. It's complete. They stop him out at the 42. That's a solid gain, getting closer to midfield. Longhorns will line up on 1st and 10. Trying to flex the ground game here. Running back takes the handoff. They try the middle, but stuff for no gain. Now it's second down here. Fakes the handoff, looking to throw. He's running out of time here. Finds a man downfield. That's a big gain to the right. He's brought down, but the gain moves the ball to the 39. Longhorns pick up enough yardage for a first down. They flip it to him on the jet sweep. Picks up 2, so it's 2nd and 8. Grinding away on the ground. Try to run it up the middle, but get nothing. Offense been in reverse here. Now a long way to go to convert this third down. Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down. Catch made on the left side. And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. Completion good for first down yardage for this offense. Handoff from the shotgun. Picks up a gain here. They'll stop him just a few inches short of the first down marker. The defense will spend their second timeout here to make some adjustments. And the ball is handed off out of the shotgun. Brought down at the 3 after an excellent running play. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible. On the ground, trying to punch it in for the score. And he fights in for the score. Touchdown, Longhorns.
Boy, Chris, how about the blocking on this touchdown run? The effort and execution combined with the vision of the running back, everything just working in concert together.
Now the important point after attempt. And the extra point makes the lead 20 here in the fourth quarter. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away.
LSU, Texas.
And it's fielded. Returner trying to make something happen. He'll be tackled at the 18. That's good coverage there. And here comes that LSU offense back onto the field. Time running out. Serious urgency here. Can they score and score quickly? Grab down the middle. It's Brown. Bursts into space. Past the 20. And he takes it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, LSU.
Chris, as you know, anytime you hit a big post route like this for a touchdown, the timing between the quarterback and the receiver is essential. Nice job of not waiting too long. Quarterback takes a hitch, gets the ball out early, and allows his receiver to run underneath the beautifully thrown football for the touchdown.
Now the try here for the extra point. And he knocks it right through. I believe they're lining up to attempt an onside kick. On the hands team, all over that to make the recovery. And the Longhorns offense takes the field. Let's see if they can keep that passing game going. The last possession, very efficient and precise. Caught behind the line. It's Moore. And the defense swarms. Not much of a gain on that completion. It's the 2-minute timeout as the offense continues to try to work the clock and secure an impressive victory here today. From the shotgun, here's an inside give. Nowhere to run. No corralling for no gain. Not going to be easy here. Backed up a long way to go for a first down. QB decides to keep it here. Oh, the ball is out. The offense able to fall on the football. Lucky to maintain possession there. So they'll send out the field goal unit to give it a shot here from very long distance. And he's got it from 58 yards away. Never in doubt.
Boy, this guy has such a strong leg. No problem. Up into the net from 50 plus.
So after the field goal, the kicker out there again to boot it away.
Texas.
So it'll be a touchback. Ball spotted at the 25. And the first play of the drive now from the 25. Dropping back. It's Nussmeier. That's reeled in. It's Anderson. And heads out of bounds after a decent gain.
Chris, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's only his second catch of this entire game. Boy, this defense has done an amazing job of keeping him in check. Let's face it, this guy's as good as anybody in the country. Big-time playmaking ability, but they've taken him out of the game. I think it's a big reason that they have a nice lead.
Quarterback looking to pass here on second down. Caught over the middle. It's Anderson. He has first down yardage at the 46. He'll hurry to the line here with the clock running. The offense spikes the ball here, looking to preserve as much clock as they can. Second down after that previous play. Quarterback sets up, looking for an open man. Grab down the middle. It's Durham. They make the tackle, but that pass creates a solid gain. Offense moving closer to the line of game after that catch. They need a yard here on fourth down to keep this drive alive. Quarterback drops back. Quick throw to the left. Wide open downfield. They finally stop him, but not before he gets to the 16-yard line.